Chris Chinnock here for Display Daily. I'm at the SMPTE 2014 Fall Conference here in Hollywood. I'm with Robert Blight with Fraunhofer IIS. IIS stands for?
Institute for Integrated Circuits.
I never knew that. Okay, good. Well, what he's showing here is a demo of MPEG-H, which is a newly adopted, well, it's in the international proposal phase, I guess, right now, and you expect adoption early next year, correct?
Well, this will be in stages. MPEG-H is a draft international standard in the MPEG committee now. So it is basically at the very last stage of development, except for formal ratification by each of the countries in MPEG. So the standard is basically complete, and the only further step is international standard status, which will be done after each country votes to approve it.
Okay, which hopefully will be early next year.
Yes, this is, if not the MPEG meeting this week, it'll be 1 in 3 months that we would expect that.
Well, the whole point of the MPEG-H, as I understand it, is to bring a whole bunch of new functionality and capabilities to terrestrial broadcast. Specifically, this is going to be part of the new ATSC 3.0 proposal that Fraunhofer is competing to be part of that, the audio part of the of ATSC 3.0. And the idea is to, again, add new features and capabilities, and in particular, the ability to add immersive sound, which uses several objects. But let's be clear, objects in this MPEG-H broadcast situation is different than objects in the digital cinema space. Objects, when we're talking about broadcast and ATSC in this case, refers to things like being able to choose a language, being able to choose an ambience track as part of an audio, being able to choose the closed captions if you want to have that as part of it, being able to choose different objects that you could never do before with the current ATSC standard, which uses AC3, correct?
Yes, though I will point out you're correct in what you've said, but I will point out we can do, for those broadcasters who feel a need for them, we can do the cinema type objects where you have moving sounds, such as you have in the cinema with the latest immersive mixes. Those are what we term dynamic objects, and we will of course support those as well, though we think the primary use for audio objects is to support, as you said, multiple languages, to support hearing your home team announcer versus the away team announcer at a sporting event, hearing a race car driver talk to his pit crew as another source of audio when you're watching a race on TV.
Hearing a referee or the coach or some other creative uses of new audio tracks.
Exactly. And for example, we have this tablet demo here where we can use this menu to adjust some preset settings that a casual listener might use because he wants a live sound to be to have the feeling of being at the event, or he may want to listen with the standard TV audio mix, or he may be more of a gamer type guy and he wants to hear the sound effects from the car accentuated. For cases where the broadcaster wants to support multiple languages, this can be done just by adding another audio object that's 30 kilobits of additional data, and then he can support another language. Or it might be that you want to tune in the pit crew radio. So basically the broadcaster will have control over what interfaces are presented to the viewer at home, and it can range anywhere from nothing to a couple of preset buttons to, in some cases, if the broadcaster permits it, more control over the audio mix, to where the mix can be tailored to the preferences of the viewer at home. And this is a significant challenge for broadcasters. We have done experiments perhaps 3 years ago at the Wimbledon tennis match in conjunction with the BBC. We did a consumer trial where consumers were given a web interface with a slider, and they could adjust the dialogue level for the Wimbledon match. It's what the press called the Wimbledon grunt controller.
Okay.
And we found that the BBC did a splendid job of their mix because it was halfway in between what the audience, some of the audience wanted it lower, some of the audience wanted it higher, and so they sort of had to split the difference. And basically, they gave an average mix that really satisfied no one. But it's the best you can do with being able to send out a traditional audio signal.
And that can all change now because you can personalize the audio.
Correct. Now a viewer at home, he can set that dialogue level where he feels it's best. This is also helpful for people who are trying to understand English as a second language, or even if I, as an American, I'm following a BBC drama and I don't understand British accent that well, I can turn it up a little bit. Or for people who are beginning to lose a little of their hearing and they need a little more dialogue, but not necessarily just boosting the volume of the whole program.
So will I be able to, let's say I'm watching a broadcast movie, can I turn down the music soundtrack and bring up the dialogue and adjust those independently?
You can if the broadcaster and the content creator have authored the content in a way that permits that. We at Fraunhofer are very cognizant of the desires of creatives to have control over how their content is modified. So particularly in the case of a feature film, they may want to limit the range of controls if they allow things to be controlled. Different genres have different levels of creative intent in terms of what viewers might be able to modify. So I would expect to have much more interactivity in a sports broadcast, for example, than I would in a finished feature film where the creatives have spent many hours in the studio on each scene in the film.
We should also mention your partners here too. So you're with Technicolor is one, and who will be really focused on the kind of the home market and the set-top box implementation and the decode of this, and then Qualcomm really more focused on the mobile applications, smartphones and tablets and that kind of thing. Correct?
Yes, we have an effort called the MPEG-H Audio Alliance, where we are jointly promoting the practical TV audio system that's built around the MPEG ISO standard. Because to deliver a complete TV audio system, you need more than just the core audio components that MPEG has standardized. And also remember that Technicolor is not only a set-top box manufacturer, but is a significant service provider to the motion picture industry, doing the audio production for probably 60% of the features that Hollywood makes.
And recently in the news with partnering with Sinclair for a part of it, but the ATSC, I guess, with the modulation component of that, I believe.
Yes, although that component is outside the Audio Alliance area.
Understood. Yeah, but they have multi fingers in the area. Okay. Tell us about the data rates for this too. So AC3 you said was 384 to 428 kilobits per second or something in that range. Tell us about what happens with the MPEG-H.
Yes. So TV today, most American broadcasters using AC3 use either 384 or more commonly 448 kilobits. And moving to a new standard will allow them to take advantages of the advances in coding technology that permit the same audio quality with a much lower bit rate. So, for example, today's 5.1 broadcasts could be delivered at 160 kilobits instead of 448. Or the broadcaster could elect to add perhaps 30 kilobits per interactive audio object to send another announcer or a separate feed for sound effects, or the car drivers' pit crew radio.
Language track, something like that.
Or other languages, yes. Or you could use this to transmit immersive sound. This new standard will also support the immersive sound that's now being introduced in theaters. So just as you can have the immersive sound experience when you're watching in the cinema, you'll be able to watch films at home with immersive sound, or you'll go to sporting broadcasts where you'll have the in the stadium or at the event feeling.
So if I'm in a theater and I experience a film with Atmos or Barco 11.1, could that same experience be replicated if that same piece of content was broadcast and authored to enable that through MPEG-H? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we fully support the same sort of features you see in the theatrical sound system as adapted for home use. And further, we've tried to show how this can be practically deployed in mainstream consumers' homes, because no doubt video enthusiasts will mount 11 speakers in their listening room.
No doubt.
No doubt. The hardcore video enthusiasts will do this because they want to experience the ultimate sound quality. For mainstream consumers who aren't as enthusiastic, Fraunhofer has shown our prototype of a 3D soundbar that will provide real immersive sound, but out of a soundbar that you can just take out of the box, hang on the wall, no wires, no drilling in the ceiling, a one-piece solution.
One soundbar, you wouldn't need two, maybe one on the ceiling or the back wall? Really?
Nope. We don't have it here at this show, but as we've shown at other trade shows, it produces true immersive sound just from that one frame of stuff around the TV.
Very impressive. Well, I've certainly learned a lot more about MPEG-H. I thank you very much for informing me and everyone else. And good luck. We look forward to hopefully getting adopted in ATSC 3.0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chris Chinnock for Display Daily.